Previously on Unranked.
Our head-to-head challenge, and it is the
jump rope. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying I have, but has anyone broken triple digits?
I will tell you straight out, I have not broken triple digits. I should have smirked and been like, I don't know, maybe, when you asked if I broke triple digits. If you were to get triple digits, if you were to break the triple digit, how long would that have taken you? It would have taken you about a half hour.
That's about 3 minutes.
It's not 3 minutes to break 1,000.
I didn't say 1,000. I said I said triple digits.
Yeah, break triple digits.
Yeah, like into triple digits.
Oh,
so yes, Alex has gotten into triple digits. There we go.
Wait, what did you think he?
He thought I meant 1,000. He thought I meant over 1,000.
So quadruple digits.
Well, I thought when you broke like the barrier of triple digits,
You're
that's what
an
I
idiot.
thought you
That's
meant.
not what that means.
Tom, I need to
Broke
leave this
triple
part
digits?
now in the podcast because it's so stupid. I want everyone to hear this.
Wait, hold on. You asked, did anyone break triple digits? Meaning
that
break
means
through?
break into. No,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's not what it means.
Yeah, when you break the glass ceiling,
This is
Alex.
the equivalent of people being like, "That's out of pocket." What you're saying right now is out of pocket.
Yeah, that's
Son
true.
of a bitch.
Wait, but he didn't say break into. He said,
He
did
said
anyone
broke triple digits, which means break into. That is what we all understand it to mean. When words lose their meaning, society collapses. This is so out of pocket, and I won't stand for it. What a brilliant episode to have you on for.
Also, I was very distracted because I was like, Christian, are you wearing the exact same outfit that you were wearing last time?
I mean, I'm wearing my jacket. So our AC is not working, which means our heat doesn't work, which means it's very cold in this room. So I'm wearing a jacket.
I understand. Okay,
Yes.
okay. And you've like committed to this being your jacket.
Yeah,
It's like your
it's a new jacket.
It's like your
It's a
Hey
new
Arnold. You have a whole closet full of that jacket.
Yeah. I do sometimes. I have I have one of those sort of sailor knit sweater jackets. It's like it's like one of those sweaters, but it actually is a zip up, which is nice. But usually, yeah, this is what I'm wearing right now while it's cold. So
Fair.
Here we are. Welcome to the show. This is
That's so out of
episode 416. I am Christian Humes, and the wonderful voice you just heard is Emma Fyffe.
Hello. Again.
And we have Tom Caswell here, and Alex Tuna will be joining us. He's running a little bit late. So yeah, Emma, weird introduction to the show. I've had you on a previous show that I did.
Yes.
Ultimate Fictional Character with Matt in the past.
Oh,
That is
UFC,
correct.
baby.
Yeah, she was on UFC back in the day. And speak of the devil, Mr. Quadruple Digits himself is here.
Breaking. Now, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Emma. You
Yes.
understand breaking triple digits to fundamentally mean breaking into. Okay.
Breaking into. Yes. No, I have to tell you that I am with Tom on this. Yeah. Breaking into.
We're doing these bi-weekly challenges now where one of us, whoever wins the recent challenge, submits a new challenge in a game. And so what we're doing right now is Mario Party. It's a hot rope jump mini game, and whoever gets the highest score wins. And Mr. Tuna here thought I somehow had broken into quadruple digits, which would have been quite the feat because that is unbelievably hard.
That's a lot. I mean, first of all, any Mario Party game like that is definitely effectively where the skill factor comes in. You know, so much of that game is RNG. But you know, you can potentially give yourself an edge by being particularly skilled in the mini games. But yeah, that hot rope jump. Gosh, breaking into quadruple digits.
You got to be a pro gamer.
Right?
You got to be a pro gamer.
Jumps.
Someone's done like 6,000. I think that was those.
No, it's 99,999.
Well, that's the
is
total.
the
Is there no
max.
timer on that one?
You could put it on endless mode, and it took the guy 5 hours. It was a 5-hour run without messing up.
Wow.
Yeah. Mr. Tuna, welcome to the show.
Hello, fan of the show.
I love this headset. I love you. You're in game.
Well,
I
couldn't find my AirPods. So I have a kid that has a flu right now that might be having an allergic reaction to medicine now. So now we're just like not great.
How are you feeling? You were worried you wouldn't make it.
I feel good.
You're impervious.
I don't think I got. And I didn't get the flu vaccine, so I don't know what's going on.
You know, just another nail in the coffin for vaccinations.
Yeah. Screw it. She.
Just to clear it up, that's not because we're anti-science. It's because you're lazy.
Yeah, I kept meaning to go to get my.
Yeah,
I kept meaning to go to get my flu vaccine and COVID booster, and now that my kid has the flu, and now we're at the end of February, time's up. So fuck that up. So I thought for sure I was getting the flu. No dice. Lucky. But she's been sick for 5-6 days now. Sucks. So not great.
Everyone I know with children is ill or was
all the time
ill. Specifically right now, but in general,
Someone we work with, that Emma and I work with, Aaron, he has 3 kids, and one of them is always sick, which means he is always sick, like all the time. Man. He's always like,
that's so rough.
Sick. I'm just like,
they're just incubators,
sucks, man. Yeah,
you got little petri dishes walking around.
Yep,
putting them on blast.
Yeah, we really gotta call out the fact that kids are gross. That's not
disgusting little.
No, it's just it's the exposure to germs though, because I used to work for a touring children's theater company and I was working with kids all the time, and like kid sick is a different kind of sick. Like when you get those kid germs, yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
No, she wiped her nose on me earlier, so that's really great.
Yeah.
And like all she wants to do is like be with us.
Yeah. So. She's like, please let me spread this to you, right?
So not great.
Speaking of rough, what is this week's Pokemon?
We're not even there.
You just joined, bro.
I
don't know why I
started late. We started late. This week's Pokemon 416 is the evolution of last week's Pokemon Combee. This week we have Vespiqueen, which, if you remember, we talked about Combee last week. Primarily, when you find them, it's going to be a male Pokemon, which means it will not evolve because only the female Combee can evolve into the Queen Bee.
Gotcha.
Which is what we have here.
Checks out scientifically.
It does.
Yes.
It does. It does.
Yes. Typing doesn't change. It is just bug flying. So it's a straight bug flying type Pokemon. The bottom of it is an interesting design. It's sort of, its abdomen is kind of like.
Well, it's meant to be a dress, but it's also the honeycomb, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of, though, looks like a jet.
Looks like I was going to say it looks like the start of a hornet's nest.
Oh, okay.
You know when it hangs from the tree?
Oh, sure,
yeah, it does. It looks like a hive.
She still has like a bee butt though, like underneath her dress, which is a honeycomb. And I also believe that perhaps the reason that she's so slender is a reference to a chess piece. The queen. I am probably thinking about this way more than the Pokemon Company did. But
well, maybe let's go down to trivia and find out.
It does make it, looking at like some of the pictures of it, it does make it seem a little pervy having that sort of bee butt, because it does make it kind of look like you're looking up the Pokemon's dress.
Yep.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So Tuna, you are our name origin expert,
so the
our
name
resident
origin
etymologist.
Yeah. So, jury's out, but Vespiqueen may be a combination of Vespa, Latin for wasp, and queen. It's a may, though. We're not sure.
I mean, that is interesting because...
Right. It's not... Bees and wasps are not the same thing.
Yeah.
I
like bees. I don't like wasps.
Yeah, and in Japan, it is called Bee Queen.
Yes, in Japanese. Yeah, it's just Bee Queen.
Interesting.
Which may be a combination of bee and queen, according to Bulbapedia.
I'm gonna say that is a combination of bee and
maybe.
queen.
I mean, I don't know. Are you saying you know more than the scientists of Bulbapedia, Emma?
According to Bulbapedia,
I'm on the rival wiki, Pokemon.fandom.com.
I'm sorry, Emma. We don't dabble in the. It's Bulbapedia. We don't even go to the
It's
official
Bulbapedia
Pokemon
or
website.
bust.
Yeah, Bulbapedia
Wow.
or bust
Wow.
is the
Bulbapedia or bust. And I
You
will
missed it a
tell
couple
you-
weeks ago when it was down,
yeah,
Tom.
when it was down.
Oh my god, when it
down.
was down.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We
Yeah.
didn't
We
know-
had to
we didn't know
slim
what
it.
to do.
We went to Cerebi.
Yep. We didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
what to do, man.
Cerebi.net. Well, it's weird, to catch you up, Emma. Some of the pages do have like definitive, like, this is a combination of, but most of them are like, this may be a combination of Char and Salamander. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually worked with a guy who had known somebody that was like a QA tester at Nintendo during the OG Pokemon era. And he was telling me about how they would name the Pokemon, and literally they would be like, I don't know, that's like it's like a turtle, but it's got like a squirrel tail, so
Brilliant.
Squirtle. Like literally that's how they named them.
That's great.
I believe it. I definitely believe that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Especially for the translations too.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
they're just coming into the treehouse. Some guy up in
Yep.
Washington's like,
In
I don't
Seattle,
know, what
yeah.
is this?
We got 100 of these things to name. We just got to get through it.
How many?
I like its shiny colors. It's like a kind of like a pinky,
Oh, I didn't look at that.
orange.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
that's
it
all right.
shiny.
That's all right. It's got a tan. It's like it's its after hours colors.
And
You know?
its trivia's kind of
Yeah.
whatever.
This isn't the most. We're kind of in the doldrums right now.
It's the
We're
doldrums.
entering the doldrums of the Pokemon generation. You know, we had the starters, which was great, and we
Yeah.
got the fossils already, and now we're like
In the middle where it's just like
we're
ugh.
going through the bugs, and then we'll have like some of the boring plants and things like that before we come up on some more like really cool Pokemon. That's just kind of how it goes, you know.
They can't
I'm
all
just
be
gonna
winners.
No, they
No.
can't. And,
No, they
and
can't.
most of them are not.
No.
if,
No.
if we
In
learned
fact-
anything after these 400 plus episodes.
in the notes, because what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to decide where this goes on our current list of this generation's ranking. Like dead center, there's a big delineation right at Shinx. Shinx is a great Pokemon, and it's
Oh,
dead
yeah.
center in the middle, and everything above it, Shinx up, is good, and everything below it is like middling to bad, and it's a cliff that just like really, that quality really drops fast right after Shinx. I will throw a Pokedex entry out there, and then we can go ahead and move on because this Pokemon not all that interesting. It raises grubs in the holes in its body. It secretes pheromones to control Combi. All right, hold on a minute. This Pokemon just got a lot more interesting.
Dang.
Go on.
I mean,
yeah.
For that reason alone, it's got to go
Oh, I
above
thought you were-
Combi.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
it's
it
fine.
goes right above him. Goes right above Combi.
It's
Yeah.
not better than a dinosaur.
No, it's not better than the dinosaur. So it's going above Combi, below Rampardos at 19.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Perfect.
All right, let's
Fair
move
enough.
on. Now we just have open discussion. Emma, why don't we start with you, since we have our guest here today? Anything in particular? We used to break it up, non-games, games, and that didn't work. Anytime we did it, you'd be in the non-games thing, and then you get into the games, and so now it's just whatever you want goes.
Yeah.
What have you been playing? What have you been doing? What haven't you had a chance to chat about?
Well, today was the day that the embargo lifted on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I
Okay.
have been playing
Do you have an hour count?
a lot. Yes. Last I checked, I was coming up on 70.
Okay.
Most people
Wow.
have finished the game by then. I really love to explore, and this game, I find the open world style of it to be very rewarding and manageable, in that it doesn't feel like a map game where you're just like, well, I have to do everything. It's more like a lot of the stuff is baked in, and there is an element of discovery, and also a lot of the tasks that you're completing in the open world, because basically there's a formula to the way that the open world works. So you go around and you activate these Remnawave towers that basically give you information about where other things can be. It's the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed formula.
Oh, okay, yeah. When you
Except-
said towers, that's what I was like.
Except, unlike Assassin's Creed, where you're like, this is so boring. Why do I have to do this? Please let me move on. It's fun and interesting in 7 Rebirth.
Awesome.
They have somehow made that system engaging. And again, like a lot of it is like, frankly, I would get to Remnawave Towers and I would have already found the stuff that it would have revealed because I just happened to pass it, you know, when I'm like riding around on my chocobo, having a great time.
So is it more like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in that way, where like the towers are almost like something you have to do, but like you're finding most of that stuff before you even get to the tower anyway?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do the towers. You don't have to do hardly anything as far as the open world goes. That's all very optional. You know, Hamaguchi-san, who is the director of this game, like he has openly talked about the fact that he loves Witcher 3. And that feels very relevant to me in the way that the quest lines work. You know, obviously, like Witcher 3, you like quests will be entire story chunks. It's not quite to that level in 7 Rebirth, but I mean, there were some things that I did, and I can't talk about them because they're too late in the game for me to talk about it. That I like followed a particular thing that is a standard quest line to each area where you're looking for these proto relics. And I was like sobbing, astounded by how I was just being stabbed in the heart emotionally by this random quest line that I chose to do. So again, everything really feels in service of the overall story, which is important for a game that is so story focused. I'm not normally a person that like adores an open world, but I loved Witcher 3 because I felt like every time I went on an exploration, I was getting some good story payoff. And I feel that way pretty largely in, you know, within 7 Rebirth. And also, my God, Queen's Blood, the in-game card game.
So good, dude.
Is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, it's a grid, so it's a 3x6 grid, and you're basically facing off against an opponent for board domination, but all the cards, you know, have different values, and some of them have different things, like effects that they have on the board. And so there's a lot of different ways to play it strategically. And
it's one of those things when I started playing Queen's Blood, I thought it was almost too easy because the first couple of matches you have is like, well, all I need to do is position it so they can't make moves because cards have point values, but they also have like placements. So it's like if I play this card, it will allow me to play a card above it and to the right or whatever.
Right.
And so when I was playing it, initially it was just that thing of, oh, well, if I can just get far across enough on the board, they won't be able to play cards. And the first like area of matches, I was like, this is easy. Like, it's fun, but it's easy. And then when I hit the second area and they were introducing cards that destroy cards and like sneak in behind, I was like, oh, there is so much depth to this card game that I had a friend that works at Square and hit me up and was like, so what do you think about the game? I was like, if you make it so just can you go over to the Switch that turns on multiplayer, online multiplayer
just for Queen's Blood. Yes.
I'll give you an 11 out of 10. But I need to play real people with
against
this game.
People. I feel the exact same way. It's really fun. It's really rewarding. And you know, you earn cards by playing matches, but also you can buy booster packs.
Oh yeah, you
and
can, baby.
You best believe that I have bought every single booster pack I have come across.
Honestly,
because I love deck building.
Yeah. The gil that I've spent in the game has mostly gone to
mostly been on Queen's Blood.
What's the card game like in this? What is this? Is that the main battle mechanic? Because I'm not familiar with it at all.
It's a side. It's a
yeah.
side.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's a side.
So is it almost like Gwent?
Yes.
As a
It's
side
exactly
thing?
like Gwent.
Oh, Gwent is sick.
It's a game within a game, and it's a really fun card game
but
within
also
a game.
has like when it starts revealing, because it's a side quest line of its own, right? Like you go into an area and there's people to play. I just thought we'd be playing Queen's Blood, and then it's teasing like major story points. That,
yes,
like it's
great.
Wait, this is going. Me playing this card game is unveiling what?
No, there's a few quest lines that you can follow that involve playing Queen's Blood. So again, it's like they find ways to work these things into the story. All of that being said, in the case of mini games, you get to a point in this game, Tom, you are getting close to
I'm
it.
right there, baby.
Where you enter minigame hell. And look, I like mini games. I love having them as like an optional side thing to do. You are forced into a bunch of mini games, and it's not.
What are these mini games like? Are these like Mario? Is this like, hot rope jump? What are we doing?
No, it's like, in the OG game, there was like snowboarding and motorcycling and that kind of stuff. Snowboarding,
random platforming and racing games.
Kinda, yeah. There's a lot of mini games. And ultimately, for me, what it was is that it kind of slowed the pacing down sometimes when they forced you into a mini game, and there are
recording stopped.
There are definitely. Uh-oh.
Oop.
Recording stopped.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, I tried to move the window and I hit the button.
But yes, on the topic of mini games, there's just points in the game where they force you to play a mini game in order to continue the game. And sometimes it's fun and it makes sense, and also like the other people I've talked to who have played as much of the game as I have or who have finished it, they have all agreed. We all like and dislike different mini games. There's some that we all universally dislike, but it does kind of slow the pacing of the game down when they're forcing you to play those mini games. But again, it's like there's so much about this game that's so excellent that the frustration of being forced to play a mini game every once in a while, it's not entirely ignorable, but I can kind of mostly overlook it when it comes to my overall opinion on the game. And again, the mini games that I love Queen's Blood, of course, being one of them.
I like Fort Condor a lot.
I
love
like
a huge
Fort
part
Condor.
Which is like a tabletop game.
Yeah, if you like Fort Condor, Tom, there's another thing a bit later in the game that I think you'll really dig as well.
I was worried because the area, because basically I completely agree with you, Em. I was saying to you before we started the podcast, I was like, the thing that sets this apart from something like a bloated Ubisoft game or any bloated open world game is that there's just enough side content for it to feel like the world has stuff to do in it, but there's not so much that it feels like menial tasks.
Yes. And
they all serve like the characters and the story in a way, and then also serve the gameplay. So there's like to get new summons, you have to like do these VR challenges.
Yes.
And they are like, I think, impossible to complete unless you go and find these like shrines to the different summons in the world, and the more shrines you find, the more it reduces the challenge, to the point where if you find them all and you tackle the summon on lowest challenge, it's actually pretty easy. And the whole story of the game is like you are stepping out into this new world. If you haven't played Remake, this won't make much sense, but Remake was so much about how the game was pushing against the original narrative of the original game, and the resolution of Remake was about how they were breaking beyond destiny and like entering a world that was not pre-written. So the whole point kind of Rebirth is to explore this world. So it's
very Kingdom Hearts in a way.
I mean,
for Final Fantasy,
yeah.
It's a
very
creative
like
director,
meta narrative.
So
yeah.
Definitely some Kingdom Hearts in that for sure.
Yeah, there's for sure a little bit of a meta narrative involved, but yeah, I mean, look, one of the things that I thought was so strong about Remake was the expansion of the characters and just giving them more to do, leaning more into their personalities. And obviously, you now have the advantage of things like being able to animate facial expressions,
Sure.
which is all very informative. But like Rebirth just takes it to another level. I mean, I played Final Fantasy VII, the OG, when I was 12, which was about a year after it came out. And, I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I'd never played a JRPG. This was the first JRPG I ever played. And I am a huge JRPG player now. It like literally totally changed who I was as a gamer. Possibly for the worse, because I could probably be friggin' awesome at fighting games if I had not gotten into JRPGs. Because
Yeah, I mean, it's such a time sink, which is why I don't do it. You know, it's too long.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like the performances are great. The story is really great so far. I have discussed it with people who have finished the game who found the ending very polarizing.
I'm hearing that the ending is really polarizing, I guess, is the least. Yeah.
Only makes me
want
to experience it more. Like that's the thing, is like when people are like, that ending was trash, I'm like, I gotta see it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I've been open about the fact that it is difficult for me to be critical about this game, because it's so beloved and like part of my DNA. I've beaten the original game probably 3 times through.
Wow.
Because when you're a kid, you get obsessive like that. You want to repeat things.
You also have the time.
You also have the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But somehow I'm finding the time for this game. And let me tell you, I am not a person who stays up late anymore. I am well into my 30s. I have had nights where I was up until 2 a.m. playing this game, and I was like, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I?
A Final Fantasy freak. An FFF,
Yeah, a Final Fantasy freak, an FFF.
The triple F. I'm glad to, and it's funny, talking to you and like us having both done everything as you go along, and like just like being like lockstep in terms of the amount of time we've put into it. I think that I'm at that tipping point, right, with it of I'm about to enter that mini game hell. I haven't hit that quite yet. But the Fort Condor game, like I was worried that it wasn't going to come back because it seemed like that regional thing. But you saying that there's something that's gonna, and it's the other thing of like, sure, I'm about to enter minigame hell, but as you mentioned, there's a motorcycle minigame.
Yeah.
And like, I miss the motorcycle battles from Remake, and there's and so I'm like, I'm so excited. Didn't they also make a fucking spin-off of the snowboarding game from the original?
There was, yes, from the original.
That's got to
game,
be at least pretty good.
Literally, Final Fantasy VII snowboarding. Yeah.
Wasn't there a Chocobo racing game too?
Oh, Chocobo Racing. There is a game called Chocobo Racing. I think there's a couple Chocobo Racing titles actually, but they are not the Chocobo Racing from Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
I think I'm allowed to say that Chocobo Racing in this game absolutely rules.
Okay.
It's so fun.
Cool.
I can totally see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you can't show any footage from where that is, but I'm allowed to say that I love Chocobo Racing. It's very fun.
Yeah. Would you say any of the other than the card game, which you compare to Gwent, so that's obviously like an A+ game.
Yeah.
Are any of the other games as good as Orlog from Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Because that to me was
love
like
Orlog.
Incredible. I played so much Orlog in Valhalla. I wish I had bought it. They sold like a you could buy like a physical one. Yeah, you were able to buy like a physical version of Orlog. I kind of wish I had gotten it. Maybe I should still get it one day. That game was awesome.
I mean, that was the thing, was like when I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I remember going to a media preview for it, and it was a remote media preview because it was still very COVID-y times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny,
And but I do remember that. So first of all, they like dropped us in the middle of the game with no tutorial, and so it was like, excuse me, what am I supposed to do? So eventually, I got to an area that had Orlog and had the like rhyming battles.
Oh, I forgot about the rap.
And that's all I did for the rest of the preview because I just enjoyed Orlog so much. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and play this. But yeah, I mean, I'd put Queen's Blood in that same kind of category.
Oh, that's
of just
awesome.
like
That means it's very good.
really fun, strategic, cool, just great.
Maybe they'll break it out like Gwent.
Yeah.
Where they just made a standalone game.
I think you make this a phone app and you especially
on
if you
Switch.
especially if you like sell car. Like I'm not trying to give you ideas, Square.
No,
but
I know
like,
Square,
but
yeah.
I would play the hell out of that. I think also I can't imagine that they're not thinking of doing that because it is begged to be played against real other humans.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, and during the final media preview, they were. It was like literally one of the things that they told us when they were having us sit down to play the demo, and they were like, "You're going to go to this area, and you'll have the opportunity to play Queen's Blood." And they were like really pushing Queen's Blood on us, so they know it's good.
They knew, yeah.
I would say to people,
awesome.
if you're going to jump into this game, I'm sure a lot of people listening are going to play Rebirth, and you don't have to be like me and Emma and play all of the side stuff.
No.
But
I
should
know,
give Queen's Blood a shot for sure.
Yes, definitely play Queen's Blood. I know so many, people who reviewed this game who, just for time, they only got a little taste of what else was going on in the world. And I will say that as I've gotten further into the game, I have been doing less in each area because I'm like, you know what? This will all be here. I can come back and do this another time. I want to get to the end of the game. And frankly, you can put it on adaptive difficulty to combat this, but if you're just playing on regular normal mode, like if you do everything in an area, you will be over leveled for the next area that you go to, which like, I don't know. It's like everything that there is to do is like what replaces grinding. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like in old school JRPGs, if you were struggling, you kind of had to just run around and fight random monsters, and that was it. There was nothing else to do with your time. So I would literally like go outside of a town, run around in circles, fight as long as I possibly could, go back to the inn and sleep, rinse and repeat. But with Rebirth now you have just all of these other things. And like in, say, Witcher 3, you get experience for completing quest lines, even if there was no combat in that quest line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Big week for Sony.
Big week for Sony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big couple of weeks for Sony.
We've been playing. Emma, I don't know if you've had a chance to dive into Hell with all
Helldivers. I keep hearing about this game. All of my neighbors are playing it.
It's all I'm playing. I thought I was going to be playing Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I haven't even bothered to try. I haven't touched any other game. I had downloaded a bunch of stuff for Steam Next Fest that I was going to play, and instead I've only been playing Helldivers. I'm level 24 now. I'm almost a space chief now. And
leveling is kind of slow in the game. Like, or it's not as zippy actually as like Final Fantasy.
When you're playing on the second hardest difficulty now, when you're playing on Impossible, yeah. I haven't unlocked the final difficulty, which is Helldive difficulty. Yeah. So here's an interesting thing is there is a level, there's this particular stage that is kind of broken in the game now. Because anytime there is a game where there is like, online multiplayer and leveling, people find a way to min-max the least amount of time you have to play to get the most experience. And so the higher difficulty you play on, once you hit, because it starts at 1, which is trivial, and goes up to 9, which is hell. And at 5, you're at challenging. And when you hit 5, you get plus 50% XP. And then you get another 25% like each one you go up. So if you start playing on 8, which I'm playing on Impossible, you're getting 200% XP. That's 200. multiplier. You're actually getting triple your XP, not double your XP
Right, on
at
top of
plus
the
200%. So that's significant. And it turns out there's a stage that if you have enough of the stratagems unlocked, which are basically like Call of Duty style, like, you know, you call in like either equipment or like, you know, bombing runs or things like that. There is a strategy that is basically a guaranteed win. Like there's this one level where you have to defeat enemies and that's all you have to do. And you start on top of like a building and enemies will get dropped off by these drop ships and they will start climbing their way up. And if you have enough sentries, like if people have like auto turrets and mortar sentries, you just lay them out and they will just take care of all of the enemies. Which at first was cool because I was like, oh, cool, I'm leveling up fast. Great. And then we would go, and if you want to actually unlock harder difficulties, you have to beat what they call a campaign. So a campaign consists of more than just a mission. So beating just that mission doesn't unlock the harder difficulties. You still have to actually go and win like a real like level, which is like hard as fuck.
Cannot cheese, yeah.
Right. So which I managed to do on several difficulties. And like I couldn't believe it every time. Like I got through. I was like, holy shit, I'm actually doing this, not like just cheesing it like that on that other stage. But now everyone is just XP farming. And so like 2 days ago, I was able to, you know, quick match and find people at the harder difficulties and like do the campaigns. And today, every single match, I'm just dropping in on people's games and everyone is just playing that match over and over and over again. And I can't find anyone. Like I tried loading up my own and I tried changing the stage and people quit. And people are just farming XP now on this fucking stage.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But
I've heard that
I can level you guys up fast now. If anyone wants to play Helldivers and you want to get some XP fast, I can get you there real quick.
I've
heard that it's like Starship Troopers.
It is.
And that it similarly has that Paul Verhoeven satire about it. And
it does.
That there are many people playing this game who, much like people watching Starship Troopers, have completely missed the message.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's totally
Yeah.
People
that's
are like,
definitely true.
You know, I'm over here like very tongue in cheek, being like for democracy, and then there are people playing who are like, no, like fucking, we're gonna eradicate those that other. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm like, oh.
The thing that I find really interesting about the film Starship Troopers is that, you know, people were like, oh, it's all, you know, why is it all these white people in Buenos Aires and why do they all have these like, you know, Spanish, South American names? And I'm like, I think you missed the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
This is why subtle movies like a lot of movies you kind of have to hit the audience over the head, and then they get so much critique for doing that, and it's like, well, yeah, but like you were always going to get the message. The idiots that need to understand this were never going to get it. That's why like subtlety doesn't work for most people. You know, a lot of people just don't. You kind of have to be heavy-handed sometimes with this stuff because what's the other one he did?
RoboCop?
Like no well, yes, RoboCop, but
the other one that he did.
The other one.
Total Recall.
Get Your Ass to Mars.
Oh,
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Yeah.
Total Recall is way less subtle about how much of a hellscape the world is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess
it's much more obvious in Total Recall, I think, than in Starship
If you live
Troopers.
here, you're gonna have 3 tits.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's very obvious in Starship Troopers, but I understand.
Yes, I would agree.
It's so smart the way that it's done in Starship Troopers. Yeah.
So this game has an unbelievable amount of style. I mean, I want to hear what Alex and Tom think because you guys have had less time with it than I have. So I can try and add in anything that like, you know, you guys haven't seen to discuss. But like this game has so much fucking style, and it doesn't even matter to me how much maybe it seems to ape from other things because it does it in such a good way.
Yeah. There's
so
a lot
Alex,
of
what are you thinking here?
creative input though.
Tom, hit it.
Yeah, I waited till Alex put food in his mouth and then I
No,
asked
I mean I think it's a gorgeous game, and I think that, you know, it's very clear that it's inspired by a lot of things. But again, it's one of those things where it's very much wearing that on its sleeve. And it feels like an appropriate homage to those things rather than just being like, oh, here's a good idea, let's take it. You know, we've even been like, oh, I wish other things would take the, you know, oh, I wish there was a Halo game that was like this. You know, I pitched to the guys, I was like, imagine a fucking Star Wars game where you play as the rebels and you're just dropping into missions to like fight
Mandalorians.
the Empire. Or a Mandalorian thing, exactly. Like, there's a million things you could do just in Star Wars alone. And so, you know, part of me is a little worried about, you know, if this game continues to be successful, like studios, again, talk about getting the wrong message.
Studios take too long to make, dude.
Studios being like, hey, let's start making Helldivers clones. And I'm gonna be like, oh my, in 5 years, we're gonna be in the same boat, and instead of battle royales everywhere, there's Helldivers clones, and most of them are shit. So that is one concern. But no, I think it I think it's very smartly implements a bunch of design choices, and yeah, it is beautiful. Holy, like, its use of lighting and atmosphere is a part of this just incredible package. But Tuna, we got you to play last week when we talked. You were the only one of us who hadn't played. How you feeling?
So, all right, I really like the game. I do. I really like it. My concern, okay, is that it's gonna get same Z. It's gonna get, because I feel like I drop in, I'm playing the same missions over and over and over again. I'm going into the same areas, doing the same things, collecting the same things, fighting the same monsters / Autobots, and right. So you got the escort. So you got the escort mission. You got the destroy the facility mission. You don't really have. It's great now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's great now.
I love the launch. The ICBM is my favorite.
Yeah, well, see, the fact that you're even saying the launch ICBM mission that you've done 5 or 6 or 7 times now, it's gonna get, unless we get some more stuff, it's gonna get old.
I mean, I think we'll get more stuff.
All these people boosting their XPs is gonna be like, well, I achieved level whatever. I have all the stratagems. I'm done. So, just a little worried.
I guess what I would say is that's, I suppose, a concern if you're only playing the game to chase unlocks, if the thing that keeps you going in games is like unlocks, and
forget
not the actual gameplay.
Fine, forget the unlocks. It's the same missions.
It is, but so is Halo, right? Like, you like Halo because it's fun, right? Because the actual gameplay is fun. I think the gameplay here is good enough that I will just be like, you guys want to drop into some Helldivers? Even in like 10 months, I'll be like, you want to drop it? I'll be like, absolutely. Because especially at the higher levels,
I'm gonna remember this. What is today? February 22nd. All right, I'm gonna remember this.
I can't wait for this to be on the previously on.
I'm gonna make a note actually in my calendar.
Here we go.
For this 10 months from now, has Chris asked me to play Helldivers?
December 22nd.
I am. I'm going to. I'm going to ask. It's Christmas. Has Chris asked me to play Helldivers?
Yeah.
My prediction is going to be no. And I'm going to
Interesting.
That you will not have asked me to play Helldivers in months.
What are you putting on the
interesting.
line?
On the line?
Yeah, on the line.
A Christmas
gift. Okay, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. A reasonably priced Christmas
whoever
gift.
loses doesn't have to give the other, or whoever wins doesn't. How does that work?
This is a bit, no. Whoa. Let's pull this back a little bit, because if we're going to do this, okay, because we got to think about other things, because Chris cannot just be bullshitting his way through life and then all of a sudden on December 21st go, hey, you want to play Helldivers?
Yeah,
right. No. It's got to be a consistent.
Sure.
It's got to be. You can't just out of the blue be like, "Oh, Helldivers, remember that game?" No.
Well, I mean, as far as content's concerned, they're adding a bunch of new biomes. Like one of my favorite things is like the biomes are super different, and they do all these different. Yeah. So like every day they're doing different things. So like today you have a unique strike that everyone has access to, and it's like a special stratagem that just like, so they're doing different weather events and things like that. But the really fun thing about the game that I'm finding is the harder difficulties are actually like much more strategically interesting. Like the way I'm playing the game now is a lot more fun than the way I was playing the game at the beginning of the game, because I really feel like I understand the world and the enemies a lot better. I mean, I played a mission on Impossible and I was like by myself. Everyone else was dead and I needed to get across the map alone. And I managed to do it. Like I managed to get there and drop off the package. I couldn't get to an evacuation, but like we still got mission complete. And that, I mean, I couldn't have done that on the medium difficulty like previously, but now that I've learned how the game plays, like there's like a lot of avoidance, which is really fun. There's like a level of, and I'm not traditionally someone who likes stealth games, but something about the atmosphere of this where I feel like I'm in a war more than any other video game that's actually
100%.
supposed to be a war, because of all the lighting and the atmosphere. I mean, I'm doing this shit where I'm just like, I'm kind of like threading my way through like the different, like I see like there's a squad over there and there's one over here. And I'm like, I like get my stamina up and then like I run as far as I can. I'm like, all right, I have to get to that rock. And then I dive on the ground. I'm like waiting for my stamina to refill. And then I'm like, and I'm just kind of like weaseling my way across the level. Like that was so much fun. Like I wasn't even doing any fighting and it was amazing.
I think one of this game's strengths is that it is the, live service games, obviously the idea being, there's millions of people playing, or there's hundreds of thousands of people playing. But even something like Destiny, even when you're in the tower, feels very boxed in of like, there's only 20 people here. And I don't feel like we're all guardians going after the fight against the witness or whatever.
I love that it's PvE. We're all on the same side. Everyone's playing together.
And then but then they have, the way that they set up the worlds of like, hey, there are 100,000 people online right now. Half of them are on this planet, and like the percentage of liberation is slowly ticking up, and some people are over here and tackling this. It makes you feel like you are even though you are max in a squad of 4, it makes you feel like you are playing with everyone, and we're all going to this common cause. And that is like it's realizing the ideal of live service in a way that like almost no other live service game has actually even attempted to. So I very much enjoy that. And then the other thing, to go to real quick, to go to Tuna's thing, you can modify the mission so much, like the thing of like, there's a missile launcher over there that if we turn it on and equip it, it will shoot things out of the robot deployment ships out of the sky. And so you can modify it in that way as well, which gives it a little bit more variety.
Yeah, I'm not saying that tomorrow Helldivers 2 is done. I'm saying that I'm going to say by summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, we're moving the timeline up.
No. That's my Chris had his
10
own
months.
thing.
Right.
I mean,
From
I already
now.
put that in the calendar. I'll tell you right now, when that thing pops up in December, I'm going to be so surprised. My future self is going to be like, "What is going on?" Because there's no way we're playing this game into end of 2024. So
You can keep talking. I just got to grab the door.
Okay. You know what's really interesting about that? I got a ring notification on my phone at the exact same time.
Emma, you
So
were
that's
gonna say something about Helldivers.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
what I was going to say was the PvE of it all. Is that I think that is something that people have been wanting. Is that that whole idea of cooperation? Because I remember like one of the big things that they were originally supposed to do with the second iteration of Overwatch was to have PvE. And it's like
Makes you think.
people, it makes you think. That's all I was gonna say.
Well, I really like.
I love cooperation and teamwork.
I do too. And we used to play Halo Firefight when it was PvE on that, and you tried to go as far as you could in those rounds. But I only played that for like a month, and that was done. So I'm just saying.
Well, so wait. So what do you expect is going to happen come summer? Like, you think we won't be playing this at all anymore? Like, what is the temper? Because this is interesting, because this is the first time that I've heard any kind of cynicism about this game, because everything else that's been happening in the text chat has been
everyone's on the high.
I mean, look, I don't think he's wrong in the sense of like the atmosphere around games in general is so different now that it like even if a game is hitting real good, to
Yeah,
keep you
You gotta hit
invested for
real
months.
good. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, I don't believe I'll be playing this at the anywhere near the clip that I'm playing it
No,
right
of
now.
course not.
I'm playing this game right now like I'd play any new video game, which
No,
is like
totally.
nonstop like a psychopath.
But I do
No, I
think
agree.
that if at some point this year they introduce a third faction of enemies,
Well, that's the thing. We're getting the third faction
Sure.
because there's a third faction from the original game, and we're getting vehicles and we're getting mechs. Like, so we're getting there's gonna be that is all
Listen,
coming.
Look, that's all great and good. All I'm saying is that 10 months from now, December 22nd, 2024, I'm saying right now that when that notification pops up in my phone, my immediate reaction is going to go, oh, yeah, that game we used to play. Memories. And then I'm going to be calling you for a Christmas gift. Is what's going to be going on there.
But wait, you didn't clarify.
we'll see.
So
We'll
the
see.
the Christmas gift thing, you
What?
didn't clarify.
What? 20
Does
bucks.
that-
20
Does
bucks.
that, so is
Adjusted-
that an additional
adjusted-
Christmas gift into the?
I don't give him a Christmas. Sometimes we exchange birthday gifts, and that's rare. So
Okay.
Yeah, every now and then.
every now and then, like if I see
Okay, I
something
see.
that I'm like,
I
oh,
see.
Chris will like this.
Yeah,
Boom.
that is
Other-
kind of how it happens. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Alex would like this thing, and then
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, Tom, I would do it for you too, but you hate birthdays in general. So
No, I don't. What are you talking about? Where's this
you
coming
said
from?
no. You said you don't like to wish people happy birthday. You think it's a
That
you
is
think it's a ridiculous
completely
notion.
no. That is not.
You
First
thought it
off,
was a notion.
I think it's
What?
I think it's ridiculous that some
Well,
people
full
are
step,
like,
leave
I
it there.
have to make my best friend. I have to
oh
make
yeah,
an
he
Instagram
doesn't
story
like the
post.
Instagram
Like,
stories.
oh, I
yeah,
have to
which
post that
I
it's someone
agree,
else's
yeah.
but
birthday or
whoa, hold on, back it up, because we texted in the text group happy birthday, and you're like, oh, do I have
that's
to
the
do it?
same thing.
What do you mean?
If we're going out, if we have plans
Yeah.
to go
We
out for
don't,
your,
though.
but then
But we don't. We don't live close. Nobody. You moved 2 rivers away.
Are you
So,
texting everyone that you have even a fondness for happy birthday when it's their birthday?
Yes.
No,
Yes,
no,
I actually.
Yeah, no, he's
Yes, I am.
he's
Yes,
on board
yes,
on
I
that,
do.
yeah.
In my phone, I have reminders in my phone. Everybody's birthday. I've
Yeah.
made it a point.
I still have
text every-
Apple. Chris and
Okay.
I.
Tom,
Chris
if
and
there's
I
a
know
way
each
that
other-
Alex
yeah.
could spite someone, even if it's to say happy birthday, he'll put a reminder in his phone for it.
Emma,
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris and I, if you didn't know, Chris and I met through the Apple Store. We used to both work at the Apple Store.
Yes,
and we
I
had,
feel like I've heard this tale.
and they had
It's quality. It's a quality story.
And, like,
it's ready,
for some-
it's ready for the cinema.
for some reasons, all of our instead of the next Steve Jobs adaptation is that all of everyone's every employee's birthday was like plugged into like our our work
Yeah.
calendar. So I still get notifications.
I
of,
still
like,
get 'em
this
too.
random motherfucker. It's their fucking birthday, and I'm like,
It's like back in the day. I don't have Facebook anymore.
Sure.
I hardly use social media. It was
Yep.
once Twitter died and the 25 other replacements popped up. I was like, I don't know where to post anything. I'm done. I quit. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what? My life is so much better without it. It's so nice. I haven't looked at Twitter in probably a month. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
what I was gonna say is that but back in the day, I remember I had like synced my like Facebook with my
Yes.
Google Calendar, and so it was
Yes.
like every random person I went to college with, because my school, James Madison University, was in the wave of colleges that got the Facebook after like Harvard and all that like first wave. We were sort of second wave schools on that. So you know, I had it in 2004 when I started my freshman year of college.
Oh yeah, you're a year ahead of Alex and I. So
Yeah.
so that we got it because I think it opened up to basically all
Every
schools
college,
in 2005.
yeah. Yes, that's
Like at the
correct.
beginning of because I got it at the end of 2000. Yeah, at the beginning or end of 2005, I guess.
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
in freshman year I was able to get it.
Yeah, I got it right
Yeah.
before I went to school.
Yeah, that was right when they opened it.
So going back to the birthday thing, I you know,
Oh.
let's have Emma be
Yeah,
the,
for someone
the
who doesn't
definitive.
really like birthdays,
Well, I just wanted to. I want to see the tiebreaker here, Emma.
Mhm.
When
what's
it comes
the
to,
type?
Well, just wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
I'm just curious. When it comes
Wait,
to
hold on.
birthday,
Can I just paint the picture first?
I paint the picture.
Can I paint the picture first?
Okay,
Paint the
okay.
picture.
All right. So here's the picture. Here's the real quick picture. Okay, we're in an unranked text group, 3 of us.
Mhm.
Okay, Now, instead of texting Tom on the side, happy birthday, I'll text him in the group.
Got
Unranked.
it. Yep,
Happy
yep,
birthday,
yep.
Tom. And sometimes I'll do that for like my other college friends because I know some of them don't remember birthdays.
Right.
But I'll
Yeah.
do it, and that starts
Yes.
the chain
Yes.
of
Yep.
happy birthday, bud.
Yep.
Yes.
Right? And
Yep.
then you're
Yep.
done. And you're all
Yep.
done. It's all
Okay.
finished.
Yep.
And now Tom is
Now,
so
before
that's my-
before you do your input, Emma,
Okay.
I have
which
no problem.
I can already tell where. Yeah.
I got no problem with this. I got no problem with wishing.
you do.
Just shut up. I have no problem with wishing. You're so out of pocket for this, Tuna. I can't believe it. You have. I got no problem with it when it was like, oh, it's Chris's birthday. Tuna sets it off, and we're all say happy birthday to each other. I think it's fine, especially with how close we are. We are pretty. We're a pretty close knit. If I'm gonna wish anyone happy birthday, it's you guys. I am talking about a more general.
Yeah.
Make a Instagram
that's-
story thing.
Yeah,
make
no,
sure-
but you complained
get-
about the texting because you didn't say happy birthday to one of us when it was
Well,
our
I think
birthday,
I
and
think
then we
Emma
called
was
you
going to be
out
the
on it.
tiebreaker
Hold
so
on,
that we
called
can
you-
put
but
this to rest.
Tom's doing no, because Tom is doing revisionist history. So Tom is trying to say Instagram posts when it really was the text group, and he didn't say happy birthday to one of us, and we called him out, and he says, "Why do I have to say happy birthday in the group? It's already been said." Fact.
I mean, I will
So
stick
don't
by
even.
that. I will stick by that. Is I don't want to get flack if I'm not like. Of course,
Well,
I
you're
wish you
gonna
a
get
happy
it.
birthday, but
Well, then you should have.
yeah, I don't think I should
Here's-
be catching flack.
Here's what you need to do. Everybody on this group text, you all have iPhones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just click the heart,
Yeah.
just add a heart
Yep.
or a thumbs
Yep.
up to that happy birthday.
Yep.
Oh,
And
Does
you're
that
off the
count
hook.
for you too?
See,
Does
Emma,
that
there's a
count?
problem. See, I have a big problem. I have a big problem with the reactions.
Okay.
I only just started doing. I think the reactions are so impersonal. It's so like I looked at your message and I was like, like fine, whatever.
Oh, I
No
love the
thought.
reactions. I use the
I hate the
reactions all the
Okay.
time.
Hate it.
I
Hate
think
the
what it
reactions.
is it depends on the size of the group text.
Mm.
Sure.
I'm in a bunch of group texts and it's, similar thing where if it's somebody's birthday, somebody who knows that it's that person's birthday will say happy birthday. And I super appreciate that. I will usually chime in with my own happy birthday. I love adding a GIF in that
Sure.
case,
Sure.
just contribute something
Mhm.
to the chain
Put a
of
little fucking
happy
thought
birthday.
into it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So okay, let me ask you this:
Mhm.
someone texts you,
Right.
"Hey, just had a baby." You gonna heart that?
No, I'm going to respond to
Well,
that as
yeah,
if
you're
it's
gonna
an
reply to that,
individual.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
reactions,
But-
everyone's getting too flippant with the reaction thing.
But you have a
and it's-
you have a
That's
baby.
But that's different. That's very
Yeah.
different
No,
from
no.
somebody
You
being
didn't
like,
die. You're still alive.
Well, how
you
about
know.
this one? How about like, like it's my aunt. I was like, we're on our way. Can't wait to see you. Thumbs up. What the fuck? How about
See,
like a text
that's-
back like,
No, that's
No.
the
Yeah.
exact perfect
no,
Yep.
instance
Yep.
to use a
Bad
reaction.
etiquette.
Yeah.
No, bad etiquette. I
It's
want,
like,
I want a response
I
that
was
says that you're excited to see
my
me.
God.
I don't need a thumbs up. I need
my
like
God.
I can't wait. That's what I'm saying.
You see
These
what I'm
reactions,
dealing with
people
here,
have
Okay.
Emma?
gotten-
All
You
right,
see
all
what I'm
right.
dealing with here?
The reactions that people have gotten way too cute and way
Alex-
too comfy with the reaction button in the Apple iPhone message bullshit.
Alex isn't familiar with any of your colleagues over at Giant Bomb, but when you were
Yes.
when you were talking about working with them, and I was like, oh, we have a guy on our show. That's kind of like this one guy, Jeff. This is the guy.
This is him. This is him.
Just saying, we've gotten a little too.
People love it,
gotten
though.
A little too
Here's the
comfy
thing.
with the reactions.
I think Tom, Emma, and I all agree, but the listeners, for some reason, are going to agree with Alex.
No, they are. They are.
Yeah.
The listeners are all going to fucking
Tragically.
agree with it.
Yep. They're all going to be like, you should call somebody if it's
Yeah,
their birthday.
you gotta FaceTime them, okay? If you don't FaceTime someone for their birthday, you are a bad person.
I call some of my friends that I haven't actually talked to in a while if it's their birthday.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'll call
do
them up.
occasionally.
Yeah, I'll call them
Yeah.
up. See what's going on.
We
Check
not to derail completely, but
Oh,
we
please derail.
That's
we-
all.
no,
that's
no,
all
no,
it is.
well,
It's
I was
derailments.
just thinking about when we were discussing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this morning. We were talking about Chadley, who's the one who assigns you all of your
Right.
world intel missions. And we all describe Chadley as being like that friend who sends you a voice memo like instead of a text. It's just like,
Yeah,
Oh,
Tuna,
wait a
what's your
minute.
voice memo?
Hold on. Oh
Yeah.
no, I really don't like voice memos. Yeah. Here's the main problem.
I started doing it that one time, and he said, "We are not doing that." In
Yeah,
this
he
group,"
put
and
his
he
foot
got
in the
so-
sand.
got
He put his foot in the sand.
I have one neighbor because I'm good friends with a lot of my neighbors. And one of my neighbors, she sends voice memos all the time, and
yeah.
it's just
Hell yeah.
Let me tell you
it's just
something.
who she is. It's just who
No.
she is.
Oh my god. Okay, so my wife.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, my wife's friend.
Another episode that you pray she doesn't listen to.
Yeah. So my wife's friend sends. I'm not kidding you. 15-minute, 20-minute.
Oh no.
No,
Voice
I didn't
notes.
even know
I
you
am-
could do that. I didn't even
I'm
know
not
that was
kidding you.
possible.
Yeah, I thought they
Oh,
had a
wow.
max of like 3
I don't know
minutes.
what the.
I don't know.
No, it's well.
They
we are
should.
way past. We are
This
way
has to be
Oh,
like she's
no.
driving in the car and she's
No,
just
dude.
leaving a voice.
No.
No.
This happens all the time. Voice notes. It's.
But
Now,
I'll be like,
is
I'll
that
I'll walk
better?
into the kitchen and I'm hearing it, and then I want to have a conversation, but I can't because she's listening to the goddamn voice note. I'm like, well, fucking read it. Like, can we pause it? Like, is there a way to transcribe the? It is crazy.
well,
I'm telling
what's your
you.
wife's response to these? Is she like fuck this, or is she like no, this is normal behavior?
No, this is normal behavior,
Okay.
Wow.
which I think is
Wow.
just.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what's worse though, the voice memo or the interpretation of talk to text when somebody has sent you a very long text message that is very clearly talk to text.
Yeah.
Very tough to
I have a
pass through. Yeah.
former colleague that it was just like it was ultimate dad energy. Like he would send these really long talk to text messages. The flashlight on his phone was somehow always on.
Oh, shit. The talk to text, unless you're driving, the talk to text, in my opinion, is rude. It's like, just type it. If it's that important to
Yeah.
tell me, type it. So that you make sure it says what it's supposed to
Yeah,
say.
every time I do talk to text because I'm too lazy or whatever, I look at it and I'm like, well, I gotta edit this now. So I may have
Yep.
just fucking written it in the first place.
Literally only use it when I'm driving.
Yeah. No,
So
100%.
just FYI, there's no message
Time limit?
There's
Wow.
no
Oh,
time.
Wow.
God.
I
Before
found
we
a
get
new
off
way
this,
to
just 'cause
annoy
this is-
Tuna.
I don't think I've ever brought this up here, but Alex will also hate this. Do any of you, because I have this with only one person in my life, but I have one friend where we have a just unsolicited FaceTime relationship where with her, we will like, we don't text each other, see if we're available. We don't really even text that much, but every now and then we'll just like, I'll be like, oh, what's Emily
FaceTime.
up to? And we just FaceTime.
Aw.
Like I'll get like a 10 p.m. FaceTime.
Yeah.
And like her
Are you
husband will be like,
crazy?
a lot of the time I'll hear her husband like, he's not picking up. And she's like, he just answered. I'll do the same thing. It'll be like 10:30 at night. I'll just like, I wonder what Emily's been doing. I'm talking to her, but we'll just do a FaceTime. You would hate that. Would
I'm not FaceTiming anybody. God, FaceTime. That's outrageous.
I have
10
one.
o'clock
I have one
FaceTime?
friend who I make.
10 o'clock. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. When you have a 2-year-old that takes up,
Wow.
when you work, and then you have a 2-year-old that also takes up all your other free time, right? When you get the time to, like, and then you do this goddamn podcast, you're wasting more time at 10 o'clock at night not doing right. So when you're finally in bed and you're trying to watch a television show, the last thing I need is a notification of somebody.
Last Airbender,
contacting
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's FaceTime. Are you crazy?
Not at 10
That's
p.m. Not
nuts.
at 10 p.m.
No freaking way.
Yeah.
You got to be someone special to get a FaceTime from me. That's crazy.
Your mom,
my
that's
only I was gonna say
That's it.
literally my
Yeah.
mom. That's it.
Yeah, my
I mean,
mom.
I schedule time to FaceTime with my brother and his daughter, who's 1.5.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like a scheduled, agreed upon
Right.
thing. I don't just randomly FaceTime him.
I don't think I have ever randomly FaceTime someone unless I accidentally did it like in a group, because for some
Yeah.
reason that button is so easy to press when you're in
Yeah.
like a group message in the group.
Oh, I hate
FaceTime.
accidentally. I don't like a group FaceTime. FaceTime
No,
is
it's so awkward. I've done it one time
Yeah.
and everyone was like,
Oh
yeah.
my god,
I'm
my
like,
parents,
guys,
they
I'm
just
sorry.
they just love a group FaceTime.
oh no.
Yeah, I've never done a group. That's crazy.
I get FaceTimes from my niece all the time, but she always just wants
Oh.
to talk to my wife. So it's, I'll get the FaceTime and I answer it. And
Yeah.
then my
that's a
sister-in-law will be
child.
like, "Where's Therese?" And I'm like, "All right,
Aw.
well, here you go."
Bye. That's what my niece does now. Like, we'll get on FaceTime, and one of the first words she said really clearly was bye. So it's like I was on FaceTime with her very briefly and her dad, my brother, and just midway through a sentence, she just goes, bye. And I'm like, okay, I guess this conversation's done.
Yeah.
See you later.
My daughter also used to like do that sometimes. Like during the conversation, she would just be like, "Dada," or like, "Bye."
Bye.
Like the other day, someone came over and my mom was still here, and she just goes, "Bye, bye, grandma." Like it's not, like time for you to go.
I mean, honestly,
I wonder where she gets that attitude from.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
I wonder who.
Yeah.
I you know what? Maybe we got something to learn from the children, because one of my least favorite things is like, I definitely sometimes spend too long trying to like get something
Get
to
off
end.
of a phone.
Yeah,
Yes.
or even like especially when it's like going out or something, and like I'm I don't like party anymore, but I go to get drinks with people, and it can be so hard to be like, oh, it really should be that time, but it's getting that going. I wish I could just be like, bye, grandma.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I know.
I just
no
go,
mistake, Tuna. We know. Yeah. That's why
I
we were
don't
alluding
mess
to your
around.
daughter
If
having
I'm
that
out with you,
capability.
the number of times I've been out with you and I've been like, "Go, I'm leaving. See ya."
Yeah.
Bye.
I have one friend who literally always Irish goodbyes. Like, he just disappears into the night. Always. The only way he will say goodbye to you is if you just like happen to catch him as he is exiting. And I just think about all the time he saved in his life by not
good for
going
him.
around, saying goodbye to everybody.
How much
know?
Final Fantasy Rebirth he could squeeze into his
exactly.
life.
There is a level of like, you don't want to be rude, so you kind of have to go talk to everyone to say goodbye, you feel like. But most of the time you don't, because a lot of the time you're kind of like interrupting other people if you're not talking to them already.
Correct.
So it's like, unless you're like, it's a birthday party and you're like, all right, I'll go say goodbye to the person who I'm here to see. And then everyone else, fucking see you later.
See you later. Yeah.
No, the only time I make the rounds when I say goodbye is when we're at family things and I know my mom's watching me and she wants me to say goodbye to people. So I'm like doing it to appease her. And I'm like, yeah. I say, and then my mom will ask, like when we're leaving,
Did you
I'll
say
end
bye
up driving
to-
her home.
Yep,
Did you say bye to everybody? I'm like,
yeah.
yes, mom. I say goodbye to everybody.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, you don't
Also,
want to
my
make her
mother,
mad.
the worst. Well, yeah, you don't want to make Marie mad. And also,
that's
worst
true.
person to get off the phone. She just has something else to say as soon as we're like, okay, but but wait.
Oh,
No, ma.
Yep.
Like, no, we're done.
I think that's
Time's
a
up.
universal mom trait.
Oh,
Yeah.
So not my
your
mom. Our
your
phone
mom hates
calls.
when you call.
Our phone calls. No, our phone calls are like 3-5 minutes. They're great.
Wow.
And
I'm
Therese is
fucking
so
jealous.
mad because
Beautiful.
sometimes if we're on the phone for like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, that was a long call, and she'll be like, she'll just look at me like furious because her dad will keep her on the phone for like an hour, and he'll just keep and she'll be looking at me like, when can I?
Yeah.
And I'll get
come
off the phone
save
after
me.
15 minutes. I'm like, that was a lot of time.
I have to start the process like 10 minutes before I want to get off. I have to start the goodbye process because it
is a process.
It's a process.
It is a whole. It's a whole thing.
There we go.
Parents.
Speaking of
what are you gonna
being
can't
able
live
to
with
just
them? Can't live without them.
being able to just say what you're actually feeling and thinking.
Yep.
Okay.
I watched all of season 1 and 2 of Love on the Spectrum this weekend, and that is such an unbelievable show. That show was so good.
The other show that was not Love on the Spectrum, but it was the one with they had Down syndrome. The one
Down for Love. That was recommended to me. I haven't
No,
seen
not
that
Down
yet.
for
Not
Love.
the
No, it wasn't
same
Down for
show.
Love. No, it wasn't Down for Love.
Oh.
No, I'm thinking of something else.
Oh, there's
Not
another
Down
one
for
then.
Love?
Because Down
No,
for
no.
Love is that.
Hold on.
So
No, it wasn't.
so
It wasn't a love show.
So
ahead,
Love on the
keep going.
Spectrum, I didn't realize there was an Australian version and that was the original. So I watched the US one. And the second one, I guess, just had come out recently, which is
yeah. I've
it was
only watched
unreal.
the Australian one.
Oh, the US one. There's this one couple who I'm like, they have a scene in the second, like they're from the first season and then they're in the second scene as well. And there's like a moment between them that I was like, I don't think you could script a better seen, like a more romantic thing that I've ever seen in my life.
It's,
I was like,
it really is such a sweet show.
it's amazing. But some of them I'm like, we should all kind of act a little bit
I
like
know.
everyone just being like, oh, do you mind if I do this? But like,
Right.
I'd like to change the topic. Is that all right? I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, this would
Yeah,
be
I
great
like
if we
that.
did this.
They don't have a
I
problem
like
saying
that one.
goodbye.
I literally no, Chris. When you said I would like to change the time, I literally just like felt myself relax. Like that would be so
Yeah.
nice.
It was,
Let's just move on from this subject.
yeah.
So the show that I was thinking of was called Born This Way.
Oh,
Ran
I
for
hadn't heard
4
of that.
seasons.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's not
Oh.
about like finding love. It's just adults with Down syndrome
Oh.
living their lives.
Oh,
but it's
okay.
really good.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good. It was
I'll definitely, I'll use
Born
that
This
as
Way.
a palate cleanser because we then made the mistake
Okay.
Of
of
watching.
starting
is
season
Blind.
6 of Love is Blind. Yeah. And let me tell you,
That
that's
is
some fucking
Oh
my
whiplash.
God.
over my TikTok right now. All
Love
I
is
get
Blind
is
season
Love is
6.
Blind.
Where do they find these fuckers? It's unbelievable. These people are unbelievable.
Y'all-
It's almost as if you shouldn't propose to
Okay.
someone without seeing them and only speaking
But-
to them for a couple days. It's
But-
almost as if you shouldn't do that.
But let me give you a recommendation. If you love nice reality television, Love is
Hit
Blind
it.
Japan.
Oh, interesting.
Love is Blind
that,
Japan.
Is that available on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on
or
Netflix.
do I have to-
It
okay,
is
okay.
so much better than US Love is
Okay.
Blind. Like
U.S. Love
It's-
is Blind. I said last season was toxic. This season's shaping up to be maybe even
Each
worse.
season they keep finding worse
I-
people somehow.
I stopped
Yeah.
after the one where they tried to do the live reunion. The
Sure,
one with
yep.
like Chelsea and Kwame. And like
Yep.
especially watching
That
that,
was last year.
and like
Yeah.
seeing them together, like I was like, the way they edited this is crazy because I thought that Kwame hated Chelsea and yet somehow
Yes.
they ended up married. And then seeing them actually together on the reunion, it was like, wow, that was some editing.
No,
Um,
they're notorious for the editing
Yeah.
and the BS that's going on behind.
Yeah.
Except for that
Yes.
one guy, because we started this, we were like debating watching it or not because last
Mhm.
season
Yeah,
when the guy put the fake tears in his
I
eyes,
Oh,
can't stomach this
God.
show. I can't stomach
I thought
No.
I was like I was
No.
like this might be the most insane thing I'll ever see on television. This
No.
might be the most
dude. I
repugnant.
don't know. Have you seen all of season like caught up?
No,
with season
no,
6
we're
yet?
we're
Well, there's two
at the
people
le-
that Brittany and I
we're
were
just out of the
speculating.
pods. So
Okay, no,
Okay.
then you know who I'm
Okay.
talking about because there's two people that Brittany and I were speculating that were plants, and the internet also maybe thinks that they were plants because
Interesting.
of the way that shit went down and the
Interesting.
way that production didn't show a conversation that apparently happened at all. It was a little fishy.
I'll tell you this. I worked on a reality show one time,
Mhm.
Okay.
and it made me not want to ever want to work on reality stuff again because of how poorly they treated people.
Yeah.
sure.
And the producers like really kind of let some people know what they want them to do. So
Yeah.
they don't need to be
Mhm.
plants if they're being kind of directed.
Directed.
They don't
yeah.
ever tell them. They're like, I'm not telling you should
Yeah.
do this. But
Right.
if that
No, I know.
happened on camera, people would
Yeah.
really react to this.
Right.
And so they kind of like make
Yeah, they
things
get you-
happen.
push it, influence it.
Yeah. And the show
Yeah.
like I worked on wasn't even like a dating reality thing. Like it was supposed to be kind of wholesome and they still found a way to make it like really
Oh, this
So-
Love is Blind season 6 is
You
a total
know.
train wreck already. Total train wreck already. It is horrible.
Although
These
the
people are
current season
terrible.
of The Traders, I saw people like on someone on Screen Rant was like, is it possibly like staged? And I'm like,
It's reality
this is where
TV.
this is yeah well no, Traders is a competition show though, which so there's like a lot of that's where like when you have people who are like critics but don't actually know anything about production, like they
Yes.
should probably like maybe like talk to someone first before they write that because
Yeah.
if you're on any kind of a game show where there's money, there are independent people that are part of the show because
Yes.
if there is money on the line, there are like very stringent laws that's like what
Laws.
can and cannot be done and they're like
Yeah.
there's like a proxy that is there to oversee it to make sure that like it is not staged in any way because otherwise it's fraud. So like that's
Yeah.
but that's what happens when you just get a
Speaking-
bunch of influencers who are just on TV
Yeah.
to
Yep.
bet like improve whatever their station is because they're going to sell a book
Yep.
or go on daytime TV when they get eliminated or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Speaking of bad TV, True Detective was hot garbage. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Ooh.
I haven't watched any of it.
No.
No, I haven't watched it.
Don't even
I
bother.
only watched
It
that
was
first
really
season.
bad.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I came into this. Critics were like, "Oh, it's good." And Jodie Foster, I love Jodie Foster, so I was like, "I'll give it a shot." Terrible, awful, god
Interesting.
awful.
It's a shame.
Season 6. Primo.
I am not a Ryan Murphy fan by any stretch of the imagination, though I did
Yeah.
enjoy the first season of Glee when that aired back in the day.
Okay.
But I will say that I knew a little bit about like Truman Capote and his relationship with all of these like socialite women. And so I was like, and I only recently learned about this, by the way. And then this season of Feud was about literally that. And so I was like, well, I guess I gotta watch this. And I will say, very entertaining. There's also a good documentary about Truman Capote and these women, also on Hulu.
I feel like there's a
Well.
million Capote projects like that. If you want to learn everything you need to know about this guy, you can learn it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
There's like
Right,
2
yeah.
Capote movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everything Philip Seymour Hoffman does is good, even if the rest of the movie's bad. Like he was so captivating on screen. He was great.
So
Oh.
Emma,
Yes.
always ask this question.
Okay.
So you're from our age group, not Tom's.
Yep.
Mine,
Yep.
Chris.
Yes.
Did you watch Nickelodeon when you were a kid?
Of course.
Okay, what was your favorite Nickelodeon show?
It does ask
Oh, it was all that.
All that, really?
Yeah.
Not one of
Yep.
the cartoons, or interesting.
No,
Okay.
I loved all that.
All right.
Yeah.
Like later seasons with Nick Cannon, or earlier seasons before, like Amanda Bynes and them joined, or does it not matter?
Right around when Amanda Bynes and them joined, I would
Okay.
say is kind
Yep,
of like
yep.
my sweet spot.
Yep,
Yeah, I
yep.
think I saw these kids doing sketch comedy, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
That's I wow. Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
Cool.
and
That's
of
it.
course, we were of the generation of you had to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, or like you could
Oh,
not go to
hell
school the
yeah.
next week. You
Oh
could
yeah,
not go to
hell
school
yeah.
the next
yeah,
week.
yeah.
And again, it's like, and I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark because I think one of the great losses of the current generation is the lack of horror aimed at children.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need that. We need to bring that back.
We need to
I
scare
really
some kids, man.
appreciated y'all.
How was that
my-
Goosebumps show on Disney Plus? Was that good?
I don't know. I haven't
But I
seen
don't
it.
got
think it's
picked up.
scary
It
though.
got
You know
picked
what I
up for
mean?
another
Is it
Yeah.
scary, or is it just like goofy?
Goosebumps had some scary stories.
Is it related to
I-
those movies they made too? Because I feel like they made like
No.
a couple of Goosebumps. No.
No, it's not.
I remember. I think I saw it with Matt Acevedo. We saw.
did you?
Not Goosebumps, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and like I really appreciated that was horror for kids that was actually scary.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, my favorite movie when I was a kid was The Dark Crystal.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I had,
wow.
and like most of my neighbors, like I like literally would like try to show it to my other friends, and they're like, "This is too scary. I don't want to watch this."
That's a good movie.
It's great,
Yeah.
and that's not horror. There's just
No.
scary
It's creepy,
imagery
though.
in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's creepiness to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also love puppets. So.
Yeah. I just rewatched Labyrinth recently.
Oh God, Labyrinth.
'cause
is so
I saw it when I was
good.
like a kid, but man, yeah, it holds up really
It does.
well.
Yeah, it's
It holds
great.
up really, really well.
It's great.
Oh, here's a question. Do you have a VR system of any
we
kind?
do have an Oculus. Yes.
Oh, have you played
Hmm.
Walkabout Mini Golf yet?
No.
All right,
greatest
Emma. So
VR
here's the
game
deal.
Walkabout
ever
mini
made.
golf.
God,
Okay.
yeah.
Ever made.
Emma, this is the
about to
Wii
change your
Sports
life.
of VR. I'm telling you, this thing is the system seller. This is
Okay.
like
It is.
this is the game. This is like
Yep.
Go
it's
watch
the
it.
game.
Watch it.
Yes.
Go play it.
Go play it.
They have a
Yes.
a labyrinth level in it. They have a labyrinth
Oh,
course,
They
and
do.
it is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Oh my God. Okay,
It's-
now I'm definitely gonna play it.
It's phenomenal.
Really good.
But
Listen,
it's a
it's my
game that
game of the
wouldn't
year.
be. Yeah,
Multiple years over.
it was our game of the year for last year for sure. We had the
Wow.
creator actually come on for our 400th
Aw.
episode. We did a episode with him inside the game in
Oh,
VR.
that's cool.
So that was pretty cool. I feel like
Dope.
Tom, this might be a good transition into news actually.
Yeah, I think we should.
Oh,
get
we
to
are
some
doing
news.
that?
What do you mean
Yeah,
we are
'cause
doing
this-
that?
Well, I don't know. We've been bullshitting for the last.
Yeah, well,
we
I
can,
mean,
we
you
can
know.
get through the news,
So-
baby. We're not missing the
Well,
news.
you didn't play anything this week, because you were sick with the kid. You were dealing with the sick kid, and I just played Helldivers, and they've just been playing Final Fantasy. So there wasn't really a whole lot else going on to discuss this week.
And there won't be Helldivers going on in December of 2024 either. So,
Well, speaking of VR,
Yeah.
one of the news stories this week, this hit today. It is a year ago today. PSVR 2 went on sale, and they unveiled some new things for PSVR 2. But the most interesting thing is that they've mentioned that they've basically got the device running on PC, and that they're hoping later this year to allow you to use it as a PC VR headset, which would be pretty dope, considering how limited kind of I mean, obviously got Walkabout Mini Golf. Love Walkabout Mini Golf. There's some great games on PSVR, but we got Demio. We played a lot of Demio.
I've got 140 hours in that game.
Yeah, Chris has played Chris
Wow.
alone has played a lot. But yeah, so it seems like they're going to try and unlock it for PC, and I will probably finally get around to playing Half-Life Alyx, because I don't think that thing is ever coming to PS5, unfortunately. So,
Well, you could always try it on the Oculus, though.
yeah,
Can't
but
you?
you
You want the nice display.
I want it.
You want
I
the
want
nice
a little
display.
something more, yeah. And the PSVR 2 had, I wonder how it would even work. But every time I spoke to someone about Half-Life Alyx, they bring it up and like, it's designed to be used with the Index, right? That was the headset at the time.
Yeah.
That released when that game came out, and every time I've seen it on sale, I've always been like, I could do the Quest with the PC, but I feel like I'd be doing it the game a disservice. But I feel like this might be good enough to do that. So, it's a cool update. I mean, we'll see what that even means. Does that mean that they're gonna sell PlayStation VR games, and that's the only way it's gonna work, or does it mean you can actually use it with?
Oh,
like,
that's
Oculus?
interesting.
I don't know. Is it
Yeah,
gonna
that
be...
would actually be really smart, because then maybe they are looking at their VR development, and like, it would be easier to justify the cost of these games if we could also release them on PC. But then they also should be putting this. I didn't consider that part of it. I was more thinking of it as like, they're not moving the hardware fast enough, and it's a bigger. There's probably a lot of people who are like, I'm going to buy an Oculus because I can also play PC VR games,
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the PlayStation, you're going to have a more limited set of games you can play. The quality is like, so I have both. I have the Quest and I have the PSVR 2. And if a game is available on the PSVR 2, I would 100% play it there every time over the Quest, because the display alone is a lot better. You have a much better FOV. Even over the Quest 3, it's still a wider like viewing angle. But that OLED screen, anytime I look at the Quest versus the PlayStation, it looks so gray and washed out once you get used to like the OLED, because it has that HDR and like, the really bright, like rich colors. And it's just so much lighter because it doesn't have a battery in it. It doesn't have the computer in it. So it's like so much lighter when it's on your head. And then the eye tracking is really nice. So that'll be sick. Especially with the Taskmaster VR game coming out.
Oh, Taskmaster.
Be able to play that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they were coming out with a VR.
Oh,
game.
hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah. It's going to be on the
dang.
Oculus and on PC, though. They did it. They were like, oh, we're going to look at other platforms after we release. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
we
that
got
would
an
be-
Oculus, so
Yes.
The other news, there was a Nintendo Direct this week. This was a partner Direct, so it was obviously third party. We finally got confirmation of some Xbox games coming to other platforms here. We got Grounded and Pentiment, both coming to Switch. Funnily enough, despite the fact that there was that like leak that showed that Hi-Fi Rush was adding a Nintendo Switch shirt, it's not. Hi-Fi Rush is only coming to PS5, not Switch. The big rumor now the big rumor now being that Hi-Fi Rush is actually going to be a Switch 2 launch title,
Which is weird, because I'm surprised Grounded even works on the Switch, because I guess it's
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it's easier to scale back than something like Hi-Fi Rush and make work on the Switch. But yeah, it's just Grounded and Pentiment. Those are the two coming to the
Interesting.
Switch. Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi
forget
Rush
about
coming
Grounded.
to Yeah, man. I was so excited for that game when it came out.
Yeah.
And I played it when it first launched, but there was so little to do.
It feels really empty.
I just never went back to it. Like
Yeah.
that first release, I was so excited, and then like I did like one mission, and then it was like, all right, that's all we
Yeah.
got for now. And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm ever gonna come back to this, because once I leave a game, it's very hard to get me back.
I guess Sea of Thieves is the same. It's not going to be till Switch 2, which makes more sense to me. I don't know how you get that game. I mean, it would have to they'd probably have to really scale that game back to get it to run on a Switch.
Yeah, probably. So that was one thing. We've got Unicorn Overload. This is the next game from 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim developer, which was a very Vanillaware is the developer. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim was the last game they released. That's a very popular game. There's a demo available for Unicorn Overlord. This is a turn-based strategy game. I'm sure it's got some weird shit, because... did you play 13 Sentinels, Emma? It's a weird fucking game.
I did not play 13 Sentinels. I have a lot of friends that did voices on it, but
it's more of a interactive novel than anything, but it
Sure,
also has
that's-
like this. It's about robots, and you're fighting bugs, like you're fighting like aliens at some point. It's a very bizarre game. Epic Mickey getting a port to the Switch. Epic Mickey Rebrushed. I never played these games. I didn't play either of them.
That was, I think that might have been the first E3 I ever went to, and that was in like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And that game was such a big deal there, and they had this like massive activation for it, and everyone was talking about it like it was going to be incredible, because leading up to E3, all we had were those like amazing concept arts they had released for it.
Yes.
And that was like, oh man, imagine if that game looked like that. But then of course it was running on, like 360 Xbox One level hardware. It was because it also ran on like I think the Wii.
It was it was a Wii game. I remember.
Yeah,
it
was a Wii game.
Yeah.
It was so limited, but people were like, even back then, lining up like crazy for like the figures and the pins, because they had like Disney pins for it. Which I as a person new to LA did not know like about the Disney culture. I didn't know what a Disney adult was. I didn't know what Disney pins were. Like all of that was so new to me. So I was like, man, people are really pumped about this Epic Mickey game.
What were those weird little blind box figures that they used to have at Disney? Remember, they were all like shaped like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
I knew some people that were wildly into like that,
I bet Matt would know. I bet Matt would know.
Matt would definitely know.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm going to Universal. We're going to Nintendo World together on Saturday. I'll ask him that.
Perfect. You'll have to report back next week.
Yeah.
We love a good report back. There was a bunch of stuff in the direct. I think like the last kind of big interesting one is we're getting remasters of the original Star Wars Battlefront games. They'll be released on Switch, and they're coming to other platforms, although it's not cross-play. So that's something to keep in mind, which is disappointing. But March 14th is when those are going to drop. It's going to be both Battlefronts 1 and 2, and they're going to have 64-player multiplayer, which I actually think is more people than the original games actually supported. I mean, Battlefront 2, the amount of time I spent in that game alone was a lot. So I'm actually kind of pumped for this, and I honestly think that those games are going to hold up. I think that is going to be a thing that people actually are playing, rather than just like, oh, I'll check it out for a bit.
I mean, if you remember, there was, again, 10 years ago, it wasn't quite that long ago, but I think it was about like 8 years ago, there was the announcement, EA and like Disney, they had that exclusive. It was going to be a 10-year deal to produce Star Wars games. And we got a Battlefront game that was fine. Like visually and like the sound on both Battlefront games, it was incredible. Like you really wanted to play the game, but then you play the game and it wasn't very fun. And it was like super over monetized and kind of crappy. Like really the only good thing we got out of all that was, I guess, the Jedi games and What was
That was
the
it, baby.
the
That
TIE
was it.
not the TIE fighter? What they had that one space.
Oh, Squadrons.
Oh,
Yeah.
Squadrons,
Like
yeah.
Squadrons a lot. Yeah, I did like Squadrons.
They should just re-release that. I would play it on the new hardware if like it was in, put it in 4K HDR.
God, if you had told me before those Battlefront fucking games released that they were not gonna hit, I wouldn't have believed you, but they just did not hit.
All they had to do was just make the game played like the old ones did and look like those games do. They didn't have to reinvent the wheel and do all these things with cards and stuff, but that's they wanted it to be a thing where people were just unloading their money like in Ultimate Team. They were just trying to screw people like they do in FIFA and NBA. But I'm glad that like the non-sports nerds are like, no, fuck that. We're not doing this. We're going to actually throw a fit about this, and we're going to be jackasses about it.
Yeah, it was at that time when...
We shouldn't harass developers. Like, that's where we go too far. But at least we didn't buy into it. Yeah. We're not having that garbage.
Do you have a history with Battlefront, Emma?
I had every intention to play it, and I just...
Like the original
never
or
got
the
into
new
it.
ones?
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
The new ones.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Oh,
but,
not good.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the thing. I just heard that they were not great. I have one friend who is like deeply in Star Wars. I mean, to the point that, like I was talking about how it's difficult for me to be critical of stuff related to Final Fantasy VII. It's like difficult for him to be critical of stuff related to Star Wars. Like even if he is critical of it, there's still a part of him that loves it. And I don't think he likes the Battlefront games, but boy, oh boy, does he play them.
Yeah, not man, so disappointing. But
yeah,
hey, we can jump into the originals. March 14th.
That's like this Avatar show, right? It seems like it's very middling. It seems like it's kind of like the Halo TV show. It's fine. It's not great. I will say though, I started it and it's kind of like, the writing's not great and the acting's not great, but boy, does this look like fucking Avatar. Yeah. Like I'm kind of just enjoying watching it play out, but
I just want to watch it because Daniel Day Kim looks really cool as Fire Lord.
Him and Uncle I love both those actors. I like both those actors a lot, and that is like essentially what I want to see in the show is the two of them.
I watched the first episode and Iroh is like, yep, we've nailed it, like no qualms here. But to briefly to quote Chris's point, I can't get over how bad the writing is in that first episode.
Yeah,
and I think
it's not good.
And I think that our reviewer really liked the series, and he and a few other people had said that like the first episode tries to cram in a lot. It's cramming in like the first episode of the show. It's cramming in like Aang backstory stuff. Like there's a lot that it's trying to cram in.
Yeah. But that can be done well, dude. Because the One Piece live action was great, and it crammed in 70 episodes of anime to 10 episodes.
Yeah.
The Avatar first thing is the equivalent of 3 episodes in one, and like for some reason that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's the writing, it was like too hard for me to overlook, and I'm just like, is it? And then I was like, are these bad actors? Is the writing just this bad?
They're kids.
I don't know. So I'm gonna give it more of a shot, but it was that first episode is way closer to the Avatar live action movie. It's way closer than I ever thought it could be.
You've gone too far now. You've gone too. That's not true. That's not even remotely true.
But I'm gonna direct you to. Oh, I thought I got in trouble. I'm gonna direct you to the text message I sent you guys. Did we need it?
No, of course not.
Did we need it? Fuck it. We don't need it. The animated was fantastic. Leave it alone.
There's always something to be gained if it's done well. If it's not, then
No, but, I don't think so. Like if somebody's like, I'm gonna remake Band of Brothers, I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Wow. Don't remake Band of Brothers.
Yeah. So here's where you lose me is you say that, but at a certain point, right? What? The way that storytelling changes over time and the way that like we communicate things, for you, it's not. But for like as time moves on,
Look, when
things
I'm
need
dead,
to be
go
remade
for
and
it.
retold. Well, no,
Look,
no.
if you want to,
It doesn't ruin the original. You'll always have the original, but
No,
other
ruins.
people are sometimes going to want to readapt and remake, which is why every story is not unique. It's why every story is one of the same, dozen stories that have been told throughout history remade.
Yeah. You see them thinking about remaking Back to the Future, but they know they're not going to do it. At least until I'm dead. So that's not being remade.
Tuna's gonna make it. Tuna's gonna pass him. He's gonna figure out some legal way to make sure it never happens.
Here's the thing, though: the One Piece live action showed me that there's actually a lot that can be gained by remaking something in live action, because they're able to add a lot more to the characters and the way they emote. But also, that story is, I think, actually a little bit better than it's allowed to be, because the manga, most people know it as the anime, it being a cartoon for children infantilizes what the actual story is. And so with the live action, they're like, oh, what you actually have here is incredible. So we're just going to age everyone up a little bit, make everyone act a little bit more mature. We're going to kind of drop some of the childish bits, and we're going to keep all the best parts. And so that's why the live action works really well. The Avatar TV show doesn't seem to have done that.
And it's weird because they have tried to age it up a bit. It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, no, it is.
There's some look, if you're in live action and there's someone who can control fire and use fire against another human, that isn't going to end pretty. But there are some things in it where I'm like, holy shit, you really pushed it there. But then the problem is that the writing is, I think the writing is more infantilized than the original show. I don't know if it's just, and again, this is all just based on the first episode. I don't know if it's because they're just trying to get through a ton of exposition. I don't know if it's just that the writing is always like this, but it's when it's live action and there's real people and it's not, you're lacking a lot of the cartoonish flair. It's not able to sell the writing as much.
It feels like executives I can tell you what it is. They don't trust the audience to understand what it is that don't know what Avatar is. They're trying to change things, so they're like, oh, general audience won't get this. Whereas One Piece was like, we're going to trust that people are smart enough and they're going to keep up, and we're going to write the story the best way possible, as if it was this world was real. And in Avatar, they're like, we're going to massage things and change it because people aren't going to get this.
There's one moment in the first episode that really did remind me of that fucking live action movie. So in the live action movie,
that live action movie,
it's really bad.
They changed the firebenders so that you had to use a source of fire, right?
Which they don't have to do.
Which they don't have to do in the original show. They don't have to do in this live action. I will say the live action bending in this series way better than the fucking movie, which is
whatever was happening in the M. Night Shyamalan.
But they do this thing in the live action movie where they make it so that Iroh can just conjure fire from whatever. And there's a line where someone goes, he can conjure fire from nothing. Basically just shouts it out. There's a moment in this first episode where it's it should be very apparent that these are the bad people. They shoot fire. There's someone here and they can earthbend. And there's one thing where they're fighting and the earthbender's running away, and the firebender who's just been taken out goes, "That's an earthbender." And I was like, oh no.
Boy. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh no. And there's a couple of moments like that in this episode.
That's a big not trust in your audience to get it. You know what's really nice about a visual medium is that it's visual. You can see it.
You can
see it.
Yes. You don't need to use. Someone doesn't have to say. Yep.
And this first episode does not rely on any of its. Some of the CG.
I still don't think it's worse than Halo, though. I think it's a 7. I think it's very much like a BC.
I liked that first season,
level show. But it is. You know what though? I think the acting in Halo might be better.
I think that to some degree, Halo relies a lot more on visual storytelling, and it doesn't need to spell everything out. And this episode is just every line of dialogue in the first episode is and there's a point, and it was really that I sent a picture to the group,
the world changed when the Fire Nation attacked. That line was done really poorly. It was done really, really, really poorly.
So Emma, Emma. So the
Yes.
opening of the show is the opening of the cartoon for the most part.
Yeah, long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony.
But here's the thing: they alter it because the opening is a flashback, right? It is like set in that time.
All right.
So they alter it so it isn't. It's not the same. Okay, and it's fine. And actually, I like it way more than the original movie where they did it. They add a lot of visual flair and context and things. It's really good.
All right.
But then they decided that people really that intro is pretty iconic. So we're gonna have a character say it as dialogue later in the show.
No,
and like
why?
say it like to the characters as dialogue. And that was the point, Chris, when I took that picture of my face contorted like I had sucked on a sour lemon because they
could have just used a narrator in the intro.
I didn't need you to say it at all.
Yeah, but it would have been fine if they did. And I'm only comparing it to One Piece because One Piece is so far the only thing that's really done the live action anime adaptation correctly. It seems. They added a narrator. It didn't, and the One Piece had the narrator with Gold Roger, like in the anime, and it worked. But so they did that. They had that one guy, but he wasn't a character. It was just a voice that like kind of introduced you to the world, and then it went away. You know, they could have done that, and it would have been fine. But boy, yeah, I did kind of cringe a little when she
starts going, she's like, long ago the Four Nations.
No.
I was like, no, it doesn't work as dialogue. Don't, please.
It doesn't.
Don't. And then they did the whole thing.
Wow, you're really selling me on this show.
Well, look, I saw Madam Web over the weekend, and it's a lot better than Madam Web.
Madam Web.
I have on Dakota Johnson on that press tour has convinced me that like I gotta go to like Alamo Draft House or something and just like drink and see this film.
I mean, so we went to the the 16. We went to AMC 16.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And we went to the Yard House. We got there like an hour and a half ahead of time, and we hit up happy hour, and we went into that movie fully loaded, ready to go, and it was a great time. And I can tell you, everyone else that was was in there for the same reason, with the same thought, and was laughing their ass off.
It's I've been feeling that as my cat walks into frame here, that what we're really missing is the joy of the greatest film of the 2019 holiday season, which of course was not Rise of Skywalker, which was objectively terrible, but it was Cats.
Big Cats energy. Big Cats energy.
Cats.
So, Chris, you did not enjoy Madam Web.
I mean, I had a great time.
In a traditional movie-going sense.
Right.
So Evan doesn't know this, but I weirdly, recently decided to rewatch all the X-Men films. All of the X-Men films, including, Wolverine Origins.
Including the 2015 Fantastic Four, which
I'd never seen.
Actually a travesty.
Literally forgot about the existence of that film.
Yep.
Madam Web makes the Fantastic Four movie look great.
Oh, boy.
Amazing.
Boy.
She shouldn't be allowed to make another movie.
Dakota Johnson.
Because I understand that their writing and directing was not good.
Her agent.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. That's not going to help her act because there's only, I think, maybe a couple people in this movie that know how to act. It's not really any of the main cast. It doesn't seem like, outside of like one or two people. Sydney Sweeney seems like fine, but all her like
but
character
is it the
stuff
writing
was like.
Though?
Yeah, well,
no, but
Sydney
no.
Sweeney
So that's the thing is, like her. So her writing was also not good, but you could tell like she was a better actress than the other people around her.
Well, it's all that training she got when she was a Universal tour guide, which she wasn't. I don't understand why she's lying about this.
No. They found out she is. She was
Are
there
you
for 1
talking
month.
about the Hollywood Reporter thing?
Right?
That is utter bullshit.
Is that not true?
That's not true. Like
That's not
literally, I was a tour guide for 8 years.
No, I know you are.
No. I went straight to the source. We went right to HR. And we're like, hey, can you see if you can bring up
I saw a thing that
file?
said she was. So she wasn't still?
She wasn't.
Okay.
Ugh, I'm so
would you
Hollywood
lie about
Reporter
something
with
like
their
that?
irresponsible reporting. It happens all the time. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's move on
Wait,
from this.
so
Okay.
all right.
Breaking news.
That's
Sydney
amazing.
Sweeney
That's
was
amazing.
not
Look,
She was not.
I heard about it. I thought it was hilarious. And then I saw a
Why
thing the
did
other
she
day
lie
that was
about
like,
that?
she was. And I was like,
Nobody
oh, okay, whatever.
knows. Like, we are literally all trying to figure out
would
why.
you lie?
I saw someone. So when people were saying it was a lie, someone was like, "Oh, seems like it was originally a joke because someone asked her about it and she leaned into it." But then everyone kept saying it, and now she was like, "Oh no, now it looks like I told a lie." So now I'm like, people are like, "Oh,
Now
did she get
double
caught in a
down,
lie?" Now
baby.
she
It's
keeps.
more that she's not denying it when people ask her than she's saying, yes, I was.
Oh, that's incredible. Because
Yep.
I originally, like a couple days ago, when Tom was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna come on," I was like, "Oh, I got to bring up the Sydney Sweeney thing."
No,
and
oh my
then I
God.
saw someone say, "Oh, it turns out she was." I was like,
No,
"No
that's
reason to bring it up anymore."
So also in that Hollywood Reporter article, by the way, it was like she attended one training shift, and then I was like, that's not how being a tour guide works.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
You
That's true.
get hired, and
Yeah.
then you have a month of training.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did she go to orientation? Like,
Wait, what is what tour guide for Universal? What is that? You just like someone signs up and they want a tour? Like,
no,
isn't
no,
it
no,
rides?
no.
I don't get it.
So the studio tour is it is the reason that Universal Studios exists. Tour's been around since the 1960s. And
It's actually pretty great.
It's great. Yeah, it's a tram tour. So basically you are the person on the tram who is telling people about everything that you're driving past.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's a ride in the park effectively.
Got it.
But then there
Okay.
is also, and this is the department I worked for during the vast majority of my time there, which was VIP. And so with VIP, that is also like a ticket type that you can buy. And part of that tour, which is like a whole tour around the theme park as well as the movie studio, but that includes a real tour of the movie studio where you actually get off the vehicle and walk around and go inside buildings. And
that's pretty
things.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
We actually
yes.
did that tram tour for the first time recently because we were always
really?
just kind of like, yeah, we have year passes, and we were always kind of like, oh, we'll do it at some point. And then we had family in town and they want to do it. I was like, all right, let's. And it's actually there. I like the two parts that they have that are like kind of like a ride, and you're basically in like a 360 projection, and like the tram is on this gigantic moving platform that like actually actuates and moves. So like it's like King Kong is like throwing the tram around, and it's actually like that was pretty cool. But I think the best part was when you go by all the vehicles, like you see the Jurassic Park car and shit like that. Like that was awesome. That was pretty cool.
Little
That's
Europe
so
is
fucking funny. I'm glad you were able to correct me.
Oh yeah, no.
Wherever I don't know where I heard that recently, but whatever I saw, they got it wrong.
She was in the 2016 class. So I texted my friend Danielle and I was like, "Were you 2016?" She was like, "I got hired in 2016, but not at the tour. I got hired at the tour in 2017." She's like, "But I think Danielle was just working for like orientation at the time." She's like, "I would have had her in orientation. Like she did not ever work there." And so she was the one who went straight to the source. And she's like, "I'm going to reach out to Learning and Development and see if they can bring up her file." And they were
incredible.
like, "Yeah, no, she never worked here."
That's awesome. That's so awesome. What a weird thing. What a weird fucking thing.
I know. Anyway,
last bit of news.
Go see Madam Web.
Go see Madam Web. There was a Shadow of the Erdtree trailer for Elden Ring.
Oh yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tuna's a big Elden Ring fan. What'd you feel about that trailer, Tunes?
So I already texted this to you, but I just am getting anxious diving back in because that means I got to get good again. And like I'm definitely not good enough now.
You're gonna have to stop playing Helldivers.
Yeah, well,
few months.
I told you. Yeah, a few months. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to like blood, sweat, and tears my way back into Elden Ring. There's no way I'm just gonna be able to jump in and be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this game. I'm great." Like, no, it's good. I told you when I beat two of the bosses that I beat in that game were like elating experiences. So
yeah.
And they said that all of the new bosses are on that level of
Melania.
What's the name?
Oh yeah,
Melania.
It's apparently as difficult, if not more difficult, than the end game of Elden Ring, which is
10 bosses as hard as that.
That's crazy.
Emma,
that means
are you
I'm really gonna have to?
Okay.
What's your Elden Ring history?
I started playing Elden Ring. I am not a Soulsborne player. I am not opposed to exploring whether or not I would enjoy that genre. My experience with Elden Ring is we got it. My fiance loves Soulsborne type games. It's totally his jam. He made a character in about 30 seconds. I spent about 2 hours making a character and then just tried to play Elden Ring like it was Metal Gear Solid. Like I was just like trying to stealth my way through every single base. So the vast majority of my experience with Elden Ring is hearing Gabe play it. Because he and I both do this. We both talk to the screen when we game. Even if we are not streaming live on Twitch, I naturally talk to the video game. And so I would hear him talking to the video game and I would hear that horse whistle all the time.
Well, because I do this too, and I wonder if because I'll just talk out loud to myself sometimes.
Yes,
like even if no one,
yeah,
I think that's what that is, right? Because you do that too, right, Alex? You're an out loud talker to yourself too, right?
Well, no, I'll do this. I'll be like, "Oh my god, come on!" It's bullshit.
No, but I mean, like in general, not just even in video
life.
games, just in life.
If you're looking for your keys, you'll be like,
I'm narrating my whole life.
Keys?
Yeah.
I'm talking to the TV all the time.
Yeah.
All I do is talk. Yeah, I'm talking to myself constantly.
Yeah.
Talking in the shower, talking while I'm going to the bathroom. I went upstairs the other day. My wife was like, "Who the fuck are you talking to downstairs?" Like, me. She was like, "Who are you on the phone with?" No one.
Therese will do that too. She'll come up. She'll be like, "Who you on the phone with?" I'm like, "No one." She's like, "Well, who are you talking to?"
Who are you talking to? I'm talking to me. I'm having a conversation with myself. Do you not have an internal voice? I'm sorry, because I need to have a whole conversation with myself. I go through the whole okay. Start my workday. I'll sit here. I go through the list of things. Okay, I gotta do this. I'm talking the whole thing. I'm just down here talking to me. It's me. That's it.
Talking to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are. So, guys, I want to move. I think we should move on. We should change it.
I haven't had dinner yet, so
yeah. We're about at time.
Wrap it up.
So let's wrap it up and.
We're gonna do
so
the challenge.
We didn't. Yeah, you guys didn't send me your files.
I'm sending them right now.
I'm sending it right now, baby.
All right.
Okay, sending it right now.
So yeah, the previous challenges we had, Emma, we had Halo. We had a Halo one where it was like you take.
The first one was Walkabout mini golf.
We did a Walkabout mini golf one.
Right, Game of the Year 2023.
Yep, beating out Baldur's Gate and
and 2020
and Tears of the Kingdom and all that.
Yep.
We did a Walkabout one. We did a Halo one. We did one in the Nickelodeon Smash game, Nickelodeon Brawl. So yeah, this one is who can get the most jump ropes.
Okay.
In the jump rope minigame Superstars. Now, Tuna, after the great breaking triple digits debacle of 2024 where Tuna didn't understand what that meant. I guess one of us you had to break triple digits in order to win this. And that was my thinking going into this. I was like, well, I have to at least get 100 to perform. So I'm curious as to see how we all did here. What was your tactic, Tuna? Because I realized when I was playing, I was like,
all right, here's my tactic.
Yeah, tell me.
The tactic is I did not focus on the rope itself.
Oh, okay.
I kind of just looked at the screen and and I didn't look at the number.
Yep.
I just my brain was just registering everything on the screen at one time, but not focused on any one thing. And I was just holding my thumb over the A button, pressing,
feeling the force,
feeling it, just feeling it. I'm telling you, man, that was it. I could not watch the rope. My eyes didn't move. Right, I wasn't watching the rope go around.
Interesting.
So, what did you do?
Well, I said to myself, no, I didn't. I mean, I don't think there's a real way to choose it. I said to myself, the more I played it, I was like, oh, this is more of a stamina thing than it is like a difficulty thing. 'Cause it can get pretty difficult pretty quickly. And I knew I had to break 100 because you had obviously clearly done that. So I was like, my aim is to hit 200. If I can hit 200, that would be, I'll die.
Yeah.
I can rest in peace.
Yeah, 200. I mean, 200's a great score.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what everyone's score is here. But
yeah.
I mean, the thing
Yeah.
about this is we're gonna
Yeah.
know who wins instantly because it has a counter.
right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we gonna play it? What's happening?
I mean, I had to. You guys didn't send me the clips until right now. It takes a
You're
second
right,
to
you're
put
right.
them in the
Okay,
template
all right.
and export
Okay.
a new video file.
All right.
That being said, it is ready, so
Okay.
it doesn't take that long.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Do either of you know what your challenge is going to be if you win?
Yes, but I know I'm gonna lose this.
Okay. Good to know.
We'll see. But
All right.
funnily enough, compared to you two,
Alex, how much time do you think you spent on this?
Not that much.
Really?
Yep.
all right, here we go. Holy fuck! What? Tuna,
You're at 700.
you didn't spend that much time?
Nope. I'll show you.
That's madness.
Oh my god.
That's absolute fucking madness.
Dude.
700.
Yeah. Yeah. So I literally did that an hour before we recorded.
Right,
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the record I had before that was 300 something.
I
And I
see,
thought
yeah.
that wasn't
Christ.
enough. And I
You
thought
hit the
that
zone.
wasn't enough. I only tried it, I think, like 18 times. That might be more than you guys, but I only tried it 18 times.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the video proof?
No,
I can log in here.
no, we're good. We're good.
All
So
right.
I am notoriously bad at rhythm-based games, and this is
Okay.
similar to that. And so I purposefully wanted you to believe that I had done really well, just so that because I knew I
Push
wasn't going to win. Yeah, I wanted you to at least just like have some misery in this competition. So I wanted you to believe I was doing really well, which is why I really
Yeah.
talked up my score so that you would come in here with an insane score. But I'm a little
No.
disappointed that you did it in so little work. That is,
Yeah.
I mean, 700 is fucking
It's
insane.
crazy. I would have given it more of a shot, but for some reason, I kept landing on 106. Like it just multiple times 106, 106. And like I
Yeah.
think on the fifth or sixth time I hit 106, I was like, I can't do this again.
I crapped out at around the same place
Yeah.
several times, like 110s, 120s, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done.
And as Chris has hinted at a little bit, Emma, we play mind games with each other to make each other
Yeah.
think like, oh, I've done a little bit. I've done like last week on the I really pushed Tuna to be like, oh, that time, okay, all right. So there is a mind games element to it, and I mean, it made me be like, well, he's broken into 3 triple digits, but how much has he really done that? 101?
700.
758
Fucking crazy.
is actually bananas
That
because
is
that took me 5
madness.
minutes to do the 100 one. So you were there for like a good, 20 minutes?
Yeah, the worst was when Brittany literally came down from putting our daughter down for bedtime, and she
Yeah.
comes down the stairs and she's like, "All right, what do you want to do about dinner?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, I cannot talk. Cannot talk.
Did she fuck you up and that's how you ended, or you kept going?
Yeah. No, that I got. She fucking.
Oh man.
He's lying.
I lost-
Look at his
I
fucking
lost
face. No, fuck you. You're lying.
All right. Give us the next challenge so that we can
All
do
right,
the
the next
outro
challenge
so
is
Emma
this.
can go eat.
The next challenge is this: we are going to be in Tears of the Kingdom. Okay.
Oh.
And what you are going to do? You are going to fast travel to the Rabella Wetlands Skyview Tower.
Okay.
Does Tom
And
have
we-
this? Because Tom hasn't beaten that game.
I've unlocked all the towers.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to travel the fastest to Lookout Landing and talk to Purra. Or if Purra is not where she is for Tom, that I know she is for me and Chris because we've beaten the game, then we can walk through. Oh, no. I got an idea. We'll go from Rebella Skyview Tower to the well in Lookout Landing and pray at the statue. Fastest to do that wins.
The health stat.
Do you have a way to
are
record this? Because
not-
the Switch only
you are-
records the last 30 seconds. Or did you forget that?
Yeah, you're
right.
gonna need a capture device.
Oh, that's ball.
I mean, we can just
All right,
track
so
it.
let's do the outro, Alex, and then while we chat in the post show, so Emma can go
Yeah,
eat,
we'll
you can come
retool
up
it.
with something else.
Yeah, we'll reach it.
Oh, but this was such a great idea.
It's good. We can
'Cause I was
noodle
gonna
on
say-
it. We can noodle
well,
on it.
'cause
In
I
the
was
post
gonna
show.
say
Workshop it. Workshop
no
it.
fast travel. Without fast traveling, and then just you do whatever you can to get there as fast as you can, but no fast travel. I thought this
Yeah.
was so good.
It's
Yeah.
good. We can workshop it in the post.
Yeah.
We'll workshop.
We could do it in GTA 6. 5.
Well, Emma, thank you so
Can
much
we?
for joining us.
Oh,
It was
thank
so
you
much
for
fun having you
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Yes,
It was
this
great.
Was a delight. Yep.
I hope you can go have some great food. Where can the folks catch you?
Oh, I don't really do social media or anything like that anymore. I'm
Hell yeah.
I'm co-hosting the Games Mess mornings on Giant Bomb
there we go.
on Mondays now,
Great.
which also will be airing on GameSpot's YouTube channel going forward. So catch me on that. I got a great video about Best Boy Zach Fair up on the GameSpot YouTube channel right now. In case you don't know who that is and you want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you should find out.
You should.
Hell yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
I watched that chicken video you told me about. That was great.
Thank you.
Your chicken video was great.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud
The
of it.
chicken video
Very
was
proud of
great.
it.
So go check out the chickens.
Look
What channel is
forward-
that on? Is that on?
That's on GameSpot too. Yeah.
GameSpot,
Look
okay.
forward to me bringing that same energy when I have to explain the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Great. We'll be all here next week. We have a new head-to-head challenge, which we will put in the show notes as Alex figures out in the post show. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you next week. Stay unranked.
And suck it.